All right, I think let's get started. Good morning, everyone. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you all for joining for our open global chai and gupshup session. Those who don't know what this chai and gupshup session is, let me give you a little background about Open and myself. My name is Mausam Chaudhry. I'm with Open Global and Open. We have strong 17 chapters across the globe. We have about 350 charter members. Charter members are founders of different companies, senior executives of different companies. And we have about 50,000 plus people on our combined outreach list that we have. On the call, we have Ambassador Asad Khan Saab. Thank you so much for joining. And we have many Open Charter members, Open presidents as well. And the star of the show here is Ahmed, whom we are all looking forward to hearing today. And the phenomenal story that has just, Walaikum Salam, Ahmed, the phenomenal story that what you folks have managed to do and get Pakistan on the global map. And a lot more interest has been coming in the process. We have Shehzad Shahid as well on the call. So Shehzad Shahid is the Vice President of Open Karachi. We do have Open Karachi, we have Open Islamabad and Open Lahore. There are total 17 chapters, as I mentioned, across the globe. So Shehzad will be moderating this session and I'll be joining him here. So quick introduction on Shehzad. And then I'll hand it over to Ambassador Asad Khan Saab to say a few words, and then hand it back to Shehzad, who can start the moderating this session. So in terms of logistics, I just want to call out, this event is being live streamed. There are a lot more people on the live stream that are watching this. Please ask your questions through the live stream chat, and somebody hopefully will bring it to this group. And there's a chat here on this Zoom link. So please ask your questions through the chat, raise your hands, and we'll ask questions. We'll seed a few questions to Ahmed so that we set the stage. And then your questions will drive today's session. This is an informal gupshup. We don't want to make it a very formal event, right? So this is your event, and let's hear Ahmed's story. Actually, let me invite Ambassador Asad Saab, and then I'll introduce Shehzad. Again, those who joined late, Ambassador Asad Khan Saab is the ambassador of Pakistan to the United States. One of the most hands-on, engaged ambassadors I've worked with. And it's a pleasure. As a matter of fact, just as of last week, there was a discussion I was having with Ambassador Saab where President Arif Alvi Saab is reaching out to the Open community and saying, hey, how can we solve your issues? How can we make it easier for you to do business with Pakistan, right? And the Open network is being reached out, and Ambassador Saab is playing a phenomenal role getting the right folks and making sure that the issues are being resolved. So I'll hand it over to Ambassador Asad Khan Saab, if you can say a few words, and then we'll get this event started.
Thank you very much, Mausam, for asking me to join, and I'm happy to join. I always find chai and gupshup sessions to be very, very educating for me, very productive. You guys are doing a great job. And I must say that Open International under your leadership has been, frankly, a phenomenal partner for the embassy. And I think we both want the same thing, which is to essentially facilitate those who are interested in investing and in working in the technology sector in Pakistan. And as you rightly pointed out, that President and the Prime Minister both, I must say, although President has come out to take personal lead of the process, really they want to understand where the bottlenecks are, what the issues are, where the potential and possibilities and opportunities are. So with your and the help of your charter members and others who have tried to do things in the past but could not do it, we really want to work and find out ways in which we can help Pakistan and we can help each other. So thank you very much for making me part of this gupshup session. I always enjoy being with you, so thank you. And I look forward to learning about Airlift, which is again, the startup landscape, and I'd love to have and hear more stories like that coming out of Pakistan. It's really nice to see open, being the platform to encourage such good stories to be disseminated here in United States.
Great,
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Saab. So on that note, I'll hand it over to Shazad. Quick introduction. Shazad is an amazing individual. He is with Open Karachi. He's leading the initiative with Dr. Farah Isa, who's on the call as well. Dr. Farah Isa is the president of Open Karachi. And Shazad, he's the group CEO of TPS Worldwide. That's a leader in digital payments and banking technology. He was the former chairman of Pasha in Pakistan. And interestingly, I was also having a chat with Ali Sayed yesterday, who was very involved with Pasha as well. And also, he's been involved with multiple other initiatives. But the goal and the discussion I had with Shazad was that how do we connect the diaspora in Pakistan to the global Pakistani network? And through that, magic will happen, mentorship will happen, funding will happen, etc. And Open is that global entity, that a platform that everyone can leverage. As I said, there are 350 plus charter members, founders, executives of different companies here willing to give back. Many want to give back. They don't know how to. And there are many who are seeking their input of mentorship, etc. And then Open can play an active role. And Shazad wants to make that as a big initiative. So on that note, I'll hand it over to Shazad. Please take it away.
Thank you, Mozam. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Ambassador Saab, to be here today. I think this is a privilege to have all these amazing, accomplished leaders from Pakistan, which actually are playing their role bit by bit, developing the brand image of Pakistan globally by daily interactions, daily achievements, task by task, success by success. And my reason of actually sort of, becoming part of Open is to play my role in learning, through all those accomplished persons, and to basically use my, experience and help the community interconnect with each other and create value for each other. Ahmad Ayub is a great friend. We come across for a long time. We have one term in Pasha together. And I'm so glad that he took a dip into entrepreneurship while he was actually a country manager of one very leading software companies back then. A tech guy, a technologist by heart, a Pakistani. He basically, like they say, he does not really bleed green. I think he basically really is a Pakistani in true sense. In terms of his vision, DNA, and the change he really wants to bring to the Pakistan brand and economy globally. So Ahmed, thank you very much for accepting our request to come over and share your amazing story, because I think there are millions more who really want to know these encouraging stories of people like you who have done something that I think everybody feels so proud of, that when the Prime Minister Imran Khan himself tweets about Airlift, and the world talks about it, I think this is no joke. Airlift is the largest ever, from the startup perspective, valued company, and the kind of people who actually have trusted it are, they really mean a lot. So, Assalamu alaikum, Ahmed. How are you today?
Assalamu alaikum, Shazad. Thanks a lot, Shazad. Thank you, Mozam. Thank for, should I say, openness. Thank you, Open. I'm actually humbled to be here. I can already see a number of my mentors, seniors, friends in the list. I mean, I initially thought I'll take some names, probably the list is long. So there are so many people who I've learned a lot from. So it's a privilege to be here talking to you all of you, and it's actually humbling to even say that we are already a story. I think the story is in the making, but yeah. And yes, it is about Pakistan. Airlift for me is about Pakistan and nothing more. So thank you, Shazad.
Okay, and I must also acknowledge that I have the privilege of working with some amazing people like Sultan Appa as the chairperson of Open Karachi, Dr. Zaki, Farah Isa as the president, Dr. Imran, Dr. Imran as the Secretary General. I think this is an amazing set of people coming from diverse backgrounds, all with the same vision of raising the bar for everybody else to see Pakistan. So, Ahmad, let's get straight to the discussion, which I think everybody else really wants to know. What is airlift to the world, and what is airlift to you and Usman?
So I think airlift it started off as a ride hailing as well, bus hailing product, and we initially started off uh, with a view to actually transform the transport problems in Pakistan, and it was going great guns. Earlier on, we were doing roughly around 40,000 rides a day when COVID hit. So for the world, it's basically a counter narrative that it can happen, and we can do that because COVID happened and we moved to another product, and that's in the e-commerce space. So today we are an e-commerce delivery product, and we are growing really fast. So for the world who doesn't have the whole story, we are now a product right from Pakistan, and we are growing within Pakistan very quickly and outside. Already launching hopefully by next month in South Africa. For us, for me and Usman, it's one angle to bring an impact in Pakistan. I think it's a startup of real belief that we can build something really worthwhile right from within Pakistan, tech within Pakistan, everything from founders and technology team, and we can do that, and and our belief has been there that things can be done, and we can reach out to people and we can empower them on multiple platforms. So this is what airlift means to us, and a success for airlift will eventually mean success for Pakistan, because for me, for Bull, and all of our earlier believers, many of them right now in this group, our angel investors, many of them, for them too, I think it is about changing our perspective, world's perspective of us as a technology hub, as a destination where they can reach out for serious tech work. So that is that. I think this would be my definition of airlift overall.
I think this is truly amazing. This is very encouraging, and I mean, imagining what you guys have been able to do within 1 year of impossibly short time. This is very, very encouraging. So before I get into more about airlift, I think this is important to see why Ahmed Ayub, as such an accomplished person doing a pretty good, I think, reasonably paying job, as well as a country leader of a high growth software company. Why did you think about leaving the job aside, a stable salary that you were taking home every month, and trying to experiment into entrepreneurship? Didn't you think about your kids, their school fees, your kitchen expenses, and everything? I mean, what really you thought about it, and how was your family response to that?
Yeah, it was actually difficult. Family's response was very typical. Yeah, सब कुछ ठीक तो चल रहा है and everything. I think so there's a small little jump from when I left my last job and start Airlift. I was doing a small software services company, Expedia. My idea about Expedia was to actually get people out of this race of increments and promotions. I mean, and they should start believing in themselves. And everybody I would hire in that company was about how they can believe in themselves and open up their own setups, whatever it is, product or services. And during those days, we had this introduction with Usman, and he was thinking about building up a bus service. So the initial transition from a big stable job at 10 Pearls had already happened. So going all guns for a product was not that big a transition. But yes, moving into entrepreneurship altogether was tough. So graduated in 1998 and was doing job for all these years. I think it was a late call. I would probably should have done it maybe 5, 6 years earlier, but it was tough, and family was not ready for that. And as of today, it's been some real hard work at Airlift. So Shadad, it's been a big delta in lifestyle, but the rewards of seeing your product work really being used by people on the roads of Karachi and Lahore is so rewarding that you cannot just explain this in words.
Yeah, I think I'm sure your family and your friends will be proud of what you have been able to accomplish after, I think, some time of uncertainty and lack of clarity of this. Because you see, a lot of startups are unable to basically become what one aspires it to be. So how did you overcome the fear, the economic fear? You see, Pakistan is a different country altogether because there's a lack of capital, there is a lack of support from other areas. So how did you and Usman come together? How was the idea of Airlift conceived? And why do you thought about this is what I have to really attach myself to?
Yeah, so you need a lot of support. I mean, you need to train yourself to stay put because there are so many attractive opportunities all across where you live. I mean, in Karachi, people approaching you to join their companies, and you're holding on. There are some of my seniors. I can see Salman Azhar Saab, and he's been one of my mentors for his $0 consultancy for me. I remember, and guiding me on a lot of that. It's I met Usman when one of our seniors, common mentor, Yusuf Jan, he introduced us back in 2018. And Usman was doing his MBA from, I think, NCR or somewhere. And he was just pushing himself to be back in Pakistan and work on this bus project. And I had this small team that I could help him with. And we talked together and we figured out that this can be done. And Usman's push was that we need to go public. We need to go into production within 3 weeks. And I said, Usman, this is insanity of timelines that you're asking. And since that day till today, Usman is on me to deliver everything next week. But we did it. We did actually deploy things in February. That's 3 to 4 weeks when we from where we started. And at that time, Smart told me that I actually don't have money to pay, so what to do? And so we were working together and discussing the specs, and I was correcting him on different things. And I said, hey, dude, I'm doing a startup as well, and I don't have money either. so how does that work if you don't have money and I don't have money? So, but then some folks came in, and we had something to survive on. But and at that time, somewhere around March, we already started seeing that people want this bus service so badly, and then and we never looked back. I mean, we just pushed almost a daily build, constantly calling customers. So initially, when we launched in Lahore, Usman and team, they did pamphlets all across Askari 10 area, every house. I personally put pamphlets and leaflets all across the most populous areas in Karachi, Gulistan, Johor, every single flat. And that was some tough days because we couldn't afford people to hire to do that. It looks like it's been decades ago, but it was only 2 years back. So yeah, it was a very interesting first meetup, and how we immediately connected. I think the common point of connection for Usman and for me was both that we were thinking about the impact that we were creating, and that's why the discussion on money came late, and we were surprised that we didn't actually discuss that when we started. So
Okay, so I think this is where the two ambitious people, the two people who really want to bring a change, they are committed to it, and then they come together. So if I talk about bit about you as Ahmed Ayub, right? I mean, you coming from Pakistan, having seen how Pakistani tech landscape is, did you think that you can actually pull off such a product in such times when you have COVID, when there's a problem of acquiring talent and coming up with a technology which actually is not so simple to accomplish when you talk about scale, diversity, and speed? How has been your experience with that?
Shazad, I'll take some credit of that. I mean, I've been a strong believer of what Pakistan can do, and I've always been. And two of my brothers are in North America, and they'll vouch for that. I've been a big. I've been actually emotionally attached to what Pakistan can do, and we are having better times now. But post 9/11, we've had some really bad episodes of memories. But I personally believed that we could do that. And the team that we created initially, time and again, day, night, they would hear the same thing from me, that they are doing it for a bigger purpose. They're not doing something. It's not only about the upside on equity. This is much larger than that. And the team that we created and the culture that we created within our team, like for example, I give you this example. In the last 2 years, in this last 2 years of 2019 till today, we lost two people who resigned from Airlift Technologies. And from engineering point of view, out of 70 engineers now, it's I think it's we've done pretty good, So what kept them with us? And initially, I mean, we got funded later on, but the first 6-7 months and a year, we were working relentlessly hard, 7 days a week, like stretched hours, 15, 16 hours, and the team stayed put. When COVID happened and the whole setup had to go into a pause, we took a while. We took almost a month to evaluate where to go. And Atif Awan and Kul, and we were having these discussions to pivot or to expand or what to do with. And when we decided that we are going on with e-commerce, we had the same team who has been working relentlessly hard for 1 year. We reset them and tell them, guys, sorry, but you have to do it again. And they did it again. I mean, who are they? All of them are hired from within the Pakistani software market. And it was so amazing to see the level of output and the level of quality and the level of speed they have shown. It was amazing. And all the help that we could get, like, for example, technical help from Abbas Yusufzai and company, and RBSoft, Conrad Labs, these are all local companies. We did have our security issues, etc. And We got help from eBricks, that's also a Pakistani company who's doing an amazing job in security scene. So if you go find solutions, everybody is available. Everything is available. They're doing some amazing work at AWS on scale, on security, on architectures. I mean, we are doing work for Google and we are doing work for Coca-Cola and NASA and who not, Pfizer. And so why not for Airlift? So we had that help. There've been some great, I would say it was more like a community help. I could just reach out to anybody and they were all out to assist us. So it was amazing. So I think I can personally see starting 10 tech companies for 10 different startups today in right there in Pakistan.
Yeah, I think this is so super amazing to hear all about. But I'm still unclear, Ahmed. I mean, how were you able to retain the people when the demand of the talent start to grow and you were making people work for like 12, 14 hours, right? Without much clarity about what lies ahead. So what was a trick that kept them going, aligned to your vision, and then you were able to actually reach them as well? So I'm sure you're doing something that we all must want to know.
Yeah, it's an interesting question, Shazad. Then actually, it was in reverse earlier on. So we actually had to hire people in an environment where startups don't actually exist. Equity is a concept very alien to these guys. I mean, I've drawn so many pizzas on boards that this is how it works, and the size of the pizza and size of the slice, etc. So we actually had to teach them how equity works. So it's not as if that they were all into this equity thinking and they would grow. I think a couple of things that we did really right was creating our early value system, not the value system that we would only post on the walls of the company, but actually, and Usman, I would say, is the true champion around that. Bias to action and being 1% better every day. I mean, I think these are probably common traits in many companies. But we were moving fast, and we were constantly repeating our value systems to them, and we were actually we were right there on the front lines. I mean, we would sit with the bus drivers to test. We would go to the warehouses and work as pickers and packers when it needed. I think we were able to get that connection to the team, and we created that openness to the team that we are listening to them. We were very strong on hiring. I mean, we have rejected so many people. We to hire a team of that small team. We culture fit was a strong requirement for us. I mean, we would reject best of the tech if they're not willing to listen to others, and if they don't have enough empathy. And the other thing that probably I'm not saying it's a silver bullet of any sort. I think it's a sounds cliche. It's an environment of I mean, it's an environment of trust. It's an environment of safety. They can bring up the worst of our decisions to us, and never get penalized. Nobody at Airlift shouts at anybody. Everything is taken very positively. So I think it's a combo of too many things, and probably that. I mean, so like for example, if they have a job opportunity or a job offer, or if somebody is approaching to them, they could just walk in to me and discuss. They know that if it's better for them, Ahmed will help them move out, and because I wouldn't stop them, and and I think that helps. I don't know if this answers your questions, but this
Yeah,
apparently helps.
I think no. I think you've been very articulate about it. So what I got to understand is you did few things at the right time and in the right fashion was about setting up the value system, you know,
Yeah.
making everybody feel important and a participant to the big story that's being, unleashed for the world. So I think this is what's the key. And you basically make everybody an owner in this big initiative by sharing the equity with all the, sort of employees. This is what I understand properly, right?
Yeah, I mean, all of the above, and also there's a slight difference in the environments. Like for example, we didn't create our glass offices. It's a slightly different way of setting up an office in Pakistan, because we have a certain setup. Like for example, when people come to me, they will call me Ahmed Bhai or Ahmed Saab, and it's our culture. So you don't want to denounce that, because you cannot just correct it, but at least you can sit with them on the same table. And like for example, if I need a meeting room, I have to book it. Otherwise, I won't request even the junior most people out of it, because that's respect. I think there were a couple of things that we were doing that were different. Like for example, the maternity policy that we have brought in is probably unheard of in Pakistan. But I think there were some couple of things that we have brought in that will be. I think these will be some good practices to follow. Not the 15 hours and 7 days a week thingy, but others.
Okay, excellent. So there are a couple of questions which I think are very relevant to the thing that we're discussing right now. So there's a question from Rose Hasham, who's a hotelier, fintech investor from Dallas. And the question is that we all can give that market leadership. We all agree that the market leadership requires deep courage and a laser focused vision from the founders and the investors that back them. So Ahmed, if you close your eyes and bring your vision to Airlift to life, where do you see Airlift in the next 10 to 20 years out? I want to hear more about your vision and amplified ambition.
So where do I see? Everywhere. So I wish. Uh, but yeah, I mean, so as of right now, in the last 13, 14 months, what we have seen that Airlift now is in Lahore, Karachi, and Islamabad, and we are in Sialkot and Faisalabad, and we are in Hyderabad and Peshawar, and we are so from within Pakistan, we'll inshallah very soon be in Quetta and Multan and many other places, and we are launching Johannesburg and Cape Town and two other cities within South Africa within the next 1 month, and we'll be in some other parts of the world that I probably won't be able to share right now, but yeah, we'll strongly be in Africa. We'll strongly be in Asia. We should be leading Asia and Australia and Africa in this space. The space is already very active these days. So that's what our vision is. And also our vision is to actually create technology that is top notch. I think the Alibabas and Amazons of the world have already paved our ways to a lot of data and robotics and next level warehousing, etc. And so a lot needs to be accomplished. So having the right level of e-commerce with a super optimized delivery system is already 20 products into one. So that's I mean that would our vision be.
Ahmad, do you see that, if you really want to expand your services across Pakistan and across Asian and African countries, the local context is very important. The literacy is very key. So you do really see down the line that you actually will be supporting different languages, including possibly the local languages spoken in Pakistan, or we continue to use English as a baseline, for the consumers.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of technology, we're already there. I mean, there's not a lot to support as such, but Yeah, in terms of having the local context, it's situational. Yeah, English won't probably last in every single area. We're already seeing some feedback from our Peshawar offices, but I think it is working. This Roman Urdu thing has transformed a lot of understanding of people around how they like, for example, dal and chawal in English, and so when we receive feedback, it's not about milk and bread, it's about double roti and doodh, written in English. So that's one. But from in the Arab side of the world, probably they would want an Arabic version, and we'll definitely be ready for that. Already in South Africa, we are evaluating that. It's not only about language. There are other local contexts as well that we are aware of, and we are architecting things in a way that we will be supporting that.
There's a question which actually I also wanted to ask, but it has come from one of our participants, Muhammad Ali Sheikh. And he says that, for the people of Karachi, where there's no mass transit system, right? Why, the airlift passenger van service, which was affordable, decent facility, why it has, why it's not there? Do you want, I mean, this is completely
Yeah.
just suspended or completely gone, or you want to revive it in the time?
It is suspended, and why did it happen? So for anybody who has this question, so we actually stopped our buses before the government announced. See, an air-conditioned bus is a formula for spreading the virus. 13, 20, 20, 20, 25 people sitting in an air-conditioned bus, uh, distancing and protocols and SOPs, all of these things are very tough on the transporters. Yes, people are running that. I probably think that at least they should be open buses. Plus, there's a lot of anxiety around whether there will be a lockdown next month or not. So see, this is an Uber model. These buses don't belong to us. We have to get them from someone, and if they don't run for 16 days and then they run for another 5, the business model has to be very, very sustainable. So we would love to get back on every single road of Karachi and Lahore and Islamabad and Multan, but we need to have some clarity around the virus, which all of us, all of you and us, we are all guessing whether it be the Moderna or not Moderna or Sinopharm, and at times we hear one is more better than the other. So I think there's a lot of clarity needed there.
So basically, you're saying that we should assume, we should hope that if once inshallah situation improves, you may resume the service, which I think like Mr. Ali Sheikh says, this was very affordable, or this is not in the short term. Should we expect something to happen in the next 1 year, or do you think you're focusing more on the quick commerce?
I probably won't commit to that because it's so unclear. But yeah, if things clear up, why not? I mean, at least a variant of it that can be done, because now we are into another space that combined with this, like it's an other model which we can discuss.
Fair point. So another question from Rose Hasham is, there's so much noise around, so many people saying so many things, your colleagues, your friends, your ex-colleagues, your investors, your management team, your employees. How do you stay focused? You have any sort of, any framework, any system, any meditation practice, so that you stay clear about what you want to achieve, and you are able to filter out the noises that are affecting you or influencing you. Possibly a lot of noises actually are good suggestions, which actually sort of give the nudge and say, you need to do something more as well.
Yeah, there's so many questions. I mean, this one specific question about the bus service. Oh, we get it like 10 times a day from family and others. And yes, there is there is a lot of noise, and a lot of it is very, very correct. Like, for example, there are so many social media groups who are actually talking sense about shortcomings of our product, late arrivals, some bad quality delivery on fruit and vegetables and etc. And we try and act really, really responsibility and quickly as much as possible. But you have to start ignoring. So you have to sort of make your sort of contact people you listen to. Like, for example, I have few in this list and a few others that I go to actually verify whether my decision is wrong or right. There have been and for our bigger decisions, we have been in discussion with so many people and so many entrepreneurs, Atif and Abbas and others, for so many different discussions on strategy and technology. And so this has happened, but you have to stay focused. I think one one way to stay focused is just create some goals that are apparently unachievable, and then you probably don't have time for anything else but the roadmap itself. So maybe that, I think, keep yourself busy, but you have to be choosy about who you listen to.
Yeah, okay. So another question, I think I would let my questions aside because there are so great questions coming from our participants. So a question from Imran Chatala. So his question is, what was the most difficult time during the big pivot?
Yeah. We had to let go of some people, and I mean, having committed some a future for them, for a buzzing transport company 2 months back, making people join us and asking them to, you know, I mean, there was this discussion of how we create a severance package and all that discussion. That was tough because we were doing some really good stuff. We had a good competitor, Civil, and they were 2.5 years senior to us, but we were doing really good, both in terms of tech, in terms of expansion, in terms of exposure, what we were getting. So I think that was the toughest part, because it changes, it hits people's lives, you know. We tried to be as much as what we could do with that, you know. It can never be enough. So yeah, I think uh, uh, we owe it to them. I don't know how we could compensate that, but at that time we didn't know. Nobody knew what would happen. And then this e-commerce popped up. So and then we started doing that and expanded. So I think that was the most difficult time.
Yeah, I think that's very fair point. Uh, Ahmed, I think we have the twists and turns. And then I think only when we look back and then we can see that what decisions were correct and which decisions were not correct. I think this is too difficult to be
Yep.
sure about that. If I talk about you, Ahmed, working for somebody and then working for yourself, where, like you said, Osman is so ambitious. He wants results, services every week or every third week. Okay. Now, working like an entrepreneur, what were even in the first ride-hailing, van service, what were the key learnings that you had that you did not think is going to be the case when you had been working, in a larger organization where you had a much more stable, job and a relatively, better
Yeah.
clarity of your job role. So
Yeah,
the key
it's a
learnings here.
key learning. So I requested the faculty of FAST to arrange a session for me because I wanted to hire for airlift, right? And my last session was when I was with 10 Pearls. So 10 Pearls is a big name. You know, when we go there, there are flags and everything and goodies. And I was standing there in the auditorium alone. And then there were two students who joined. And I was already part of Pasha, and I thought I was a so important person. And I was not. And so I think that was my learning, that it was uh, you have to build things from scratch, literally. Nobody knew airlift. and I have actually contacted people to join. I have played. I've been around people, emailing them, contacting them. I've asked people to lend us 4 seats to sit because we were working in one office and they gave us notice. And thanks to Adnan Lawai, he let us sit at a folio 3 for a good 1 month. So, I mean, there are so many reality checks. Like, for example, these leaflets across a certain area, I probably wouldn't do that if I were at Temples. And then there are so many other things. Like, for example, Shazad, when did you last type an offer letter? So I did. I mean, so a couple of things that you think that they just happen, so they don't, they don't. So everything has to be done. Tissue paper khatam ho gaye, and wo lane hai. Like, there's nobody to get those. So every single thing has to be done earlier on. In the first 1 month or so, especially coming down from a stable job in a big organization, that's the biggest learning. And I think that this is some sort of training that everybody has to go through. I think that was cleansing on my part. Plus, Usman Gul is 12, 13 years younger than me. So it was a learning of a completely different kind. I mean, it's kind of a generation gap, right? And this guy is amazing. I mean, he taught me stuff that I didn't know. I had to unlearn so much to be with him. Then that was amazing. That was amazing. So a lot of learning. I think I'm a new me. I'm a new me. In the last 2 years, I have completely transformed as a professional.
Emma, you have certainly benefited by coming together with Usman. He's coming from a different background, work in the US. Have a different sort of mindset, has seen different business skill. So this is exactly what Open is all about. Open is a community of Pakistani business leaders and entrepreneurs, and it gives a platform for people to interconnect and create value, for each other. So how can the Pakistani diaspora help Airlift to become the first Pakistani unicorn? And what are your thoughts about the exit option maturity? This is a question from Abu. I don't know what's a full name, but ABU, right? Abu. I can see him smiling on this question, but yeah. So Abu has asked this question about how can the community help you to become the first unicorn from Pakistan, and what are your thoughts on the exit options maturity?
Yeah, so the exit options are, I don't know, we are not thinking about that. And I think the unicorn milestone, I don't know if even even if that actually matters. I mean, it will be a good party in the office for that if we do that, or whenever we do that. But I think that the real impact matters. The real impact matters if we are actually running in 25, 30 cities within Pakistan and 25, 30 cities outside of Pakistan in the next couple of years, and we have a very, very satisfied customer base. Uh, uh, the community has already helped. This means, and community is helping. I mean, the angel investors that I already see in this group, and the help that we have gotten from different people at different places. Like, for example, I just mentioned Adnan letting us sit in his office for a month, and there's so many people who are helping us learn how to hire, and helping us learn things to do and not to do, as good and bad practices. I mean, the management and founders of Kareem, and the ex-managers of Kareem, and there'll be so much help all across. It seemed as if that we probably, more than us, there were so many other people who wanted us to be successful. So yeah, I think that the community already helped really well, and they've been there. And I personally believe that there's so much more to offer. I mean, you guys just heard about Bazaar. Bazaar is like 1 year old, and they just raise a fantastic round. And then there are Dastagis and Truckets, and there's so many names. So they're doing all their tech in Pakistan. They're definitely getting the support. So what happens is that there's so many people, like for example Salman for backgallery.com. So he was with me yesterday, and we were discussing how to make his tech more.
You have, I think, muted your mic. Thank you.
Okay, sorry. So I think there's a lot of mutual respect, and that's I think I'm one of the early beneficiaries of that. With more startups coming in, I don't know how many of them will be able to do that, but yeah, so they are helping. And if the product is good, if you use the technology right, if you use the right technology, uh, uh, I don't think there's any stopping on scale.
Yeah. So, so Abu is Abu Bakr. Thank you for writing the full name, Abu Saab.
Yeah.
His relevant, his same question. Do you think that investors look for exit as a precursor for any major investments? What has been your experience?
All right. So Atif, should I redirect this to you?
I don't know if we can give the answer.
Actually,
Happy to take it.
yeah.
Okay.
So hi
So-
everyone, this is Atif Awan, Indus Valley Capital. We were one of the earliest institutional partners with Airlift. I'm also on the board. So real quick answer, yes, most institutional venture capital firms do want to see some exit. That said, this game, very much, it's a patient game. Ultimately you are supporting founders in their mission. So if their mission is take 20 years to build a company, that's what we want to support. But ultimately, because VC firms have their own investors and you want to provide them liquidity, that is one of the eventual goals. I feel in Airlift's case, the ambition that Usman, Gul, Ahmed, and Meher have, it's one of the most ambitious companies I've seen anywhere in the world. So we are super happy waiting. Let's grow. Let's have real impact. And the process, I hope one day, this team will go and IPO in the US. That'd be super exciting for the country.
Okay, I think this is really super exciting, Atif. Thank you very much. I think you have been one person at least who I can tell is really helping Pakistani tech entrepreneur ecosystem to really come under the spotlight. This is I think I really like this question, and that has come from Mr. Asad Khan Saab, the ambassador. Great question, Mr. Saab. He says that Pakistan unfortunately has a bad name for having bureaucratic hurdles and complications when you go for a change and set up a business, right? So what has been the Airlift's experience in navigating the bureaucratic maze in Pakistan? And what were the biggest hurdles that you have faced? And what is the advice for others to follow so they can possibly, cut the time if they want to do the same thing again?
Yeah. Um, uh, so I wouldn't say that there were no hurdles. There were. There still are. I mean, there are so many steps governments have to take in order to help, and that's not only for startups. That's also for exporters and others. There are issues with how we handle taxation, and there are issues with how we register our companies. There are still some issues with how we handle equity and how we handle equity related liquidity. And so there are there are multiple areas that need to be worked on, and I think this group can probably help you understand much better. Like for example, for Airlift's case, when we were running buses, uh, we met Lahore Transport Corporation so many times for things that actually they were supposed to do and we were doing, and we were asked to comply with things. And similarly, it happened with Karachi as well. I mean, the buses that run in Karachi, I mean, you've seen those pictures. And our buses were stopped for non-compliance. And somebody somewhere in the government has to be supportive of the idea. Okay, this is what the government was supposed to do. And if a startup is here, maybe, I don't know, do some sort of subsidy around that, because this is actually public service projects that we are doing. So that was one sub that has happened. And also we need to understand how software companies work, how tech works, how tech exports work, and how government can support the tech exports. And there is always some glitch here and there. Recently we had another issue, and I think that got resolved of some percentage of tax deducted. Just before Airlift, I started a very small company, Expedia, and to register Expedia and to get a connection of internet through Expedia, and I mean, for a small company like of 4 people, it is so much pain. It's painful. It should be a web page. It should be similarly, Pakistan Software Export Board, if any member is there, just we need to upgrade the websites. We need to make it more and more helpful in many ways. And I think these are more questions towards, some of them towards Shahzad Bhai as well, that me and you can help. But there are hurdles. I mean, but again, these are not blockers. These are not blockers. They were in some cases, and we had to use some influences, some ways to get through. But these are not blockers. I mean, there can be so many ways to pass through, and we are doing that. And I think I hope and I think that we are paving ways to help other startups move along. Like, for example, I don't know, location-based services. We need to bring these cloud services in Pakistan. AWS, I've been talking to AWS, and they keep telling me that they're opening an office in Karachi. Why not have a office here? They need to have their physical presence there. Government has to support that. I mean, it's way more important than having a Kia Sportage built in Pakistan. Honestly, it's much more important to have an AWS office here, and probably a development center. That is the future for Pakistan.
Ahmed, we're having such an amazing conversation. I don't want to stop, but it's important I ask Moazza. We are reaching the end of the scheduled 1 hour slot. Can we stretch it, or we have to?
No. So this is a 90-minute slot. So we have 30 minutes.
Thank you. I really thought it was 60 minutes. So I was just confused if I should have cut it short.
This is phenomenal. This is a phenomenal. I just wanted to touch upon one thing, what Ahmed just mentioned, and Dr. Asad Saab just asked. So what you just mentioned, Ahmed, this is exactly what President Arif Alvi Saab is asking, right? And Ambassador, and there are multiple other streams that people have reached out to the open charter members to share what are the problems so that we prioritize and we help influence the resolution of it. So I'm going to post a link that we're going to use for this exercise. Share whatever challenges you're having in Pakistan, or for people in the US and abroad doing business in Pakistan, so that we prioritize this and get to resolution fast. Of course, it's going to be a team effort, but your insights would be great. But this is a great session. Please continue. We have 30 more minutes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Moazzam. So what I can do, Moazzam, is that I'm part of Pasha, and the reason of me part of Pasha is to basically make Pakistan. So my vision, my aim, other than my professional responsibilities, my aim is to make Pakistan a destination of choice for the global tech firms. So I said, and policy influencing is one of the key areas that I've been for the past 10 years with Pasha and without Pasha. So I think me and Ahmed can work on creating a sort of set of problems that at least Airlift came up with, and what should have been done for things should have been sort of more frictionless. I think. What do you think, Ahmed? About you and me coming up with something together, and when we can, through this open sort of community, we can send it across.
We could, like, for example, and guys, everybody else, Shazad hasn't paid me for this, but payment gateways, uh, payments, online payments, solutions like PayPal. Uh, I mean, these need to be smoothed up. There's regulation and regulation, over regulation. So we need to open it up for people. There's so much e-commerce happening. I mean, we are ordering food, we are ordering groceries, we are ordering headphones and I mean, it's just as if you would do in the US. But so we need to work on that. We need to allow that. There are fintechs. There are more and more coming in. Shazad would know much better than me. But integration around that has to be eased up. Talking of government support. So Shazad, me and you, we can create a list of some of those things.
Yes, certainly. I think, I mean, I'm by the working with so many different ventures. Don't want to get into it, but yeah, so fintech is a very regulated space, and
Yeah.
every stake may take few weeks, not days, unfortunately. But I think State Bank and my experience with government for the past couple of years at least has been that they've been very, very active in terms of responding to our request. There's red tape, unfortunately, but if you get to the right people, I think the response is much quicker. The issue is getting to the right person, and and then on you can see actions coming. So there's this great question from Nadeem at GeoWiz, who is from Open Toronto. His question is: we talked about smart girl, younger, ambitious, and he taught you a lot. You have to unlearn lots of things. So Ahmed bhai, ye batayein कि you and me come by the way, I just came to know today. We both passed out at the same year and from same university, right? I think you were Lahore and I was Karachi. So there's a lot more common between the two of us. So his question is, and I think your learning will actually help me a lot. So his question is, uh, can you, what did you learn from Osman, and can you share the top 3 learnings that really changed you to become what you are today?
Right. So Meher Farooq, one of our co-founders, she's from LUMS, and she had her background from Coca-Cola. She left a very nice job at Coke, and she was part of Airlift. And Sman, he was with DoorDash before that, and he joined to start Airlift, and I was doing the kind of a business of my own, a small. So it was 3 different people from very different backgrounds, and see, I don't know if what did I bring to the table. I think I I brought myself to the table. I think I knew the tech ecosystem in Pakistan, and initially the struggle was to figure out how this tech can be built, and and there were so many questions around if we can even build a team or not, and that was probably one thing that I was confident of. I can build a team, right? And I can. The thing was that we needed some really good engineers. So initially, the engineers that I was able to gather up were some of them, and some of them who have just done wonders looking at Airlift were not even graduates. So they were self-learned freelancers. I took on board because I knew that they could deliver. But I think what we did together, because none of it is my personal thing. Meher and Gul actually helped me move fast. I mean, they removed every roadblock and they let me concentrate on tech and engineering and delivery. I think you have to create these roles. What I think what what I did best was I didn't bring the 20 years of experience of mine too much in our discussions. I mean, and I think that's the best I could do, because this organization required a different speed of learning and it's a different speed of execution. And if I had I brought those my learning years, I think I would have pulled things back. I actually transformed into them. I wish I could. I mean, still look the same, but and I think that's where it probably have helped, because now they are very easy, comfortable talking to me and communicating with me. And now, so initial after a few initial months, and we were all easy talking to each other. I was not that old guy that has his own way of thinking. So I still don't listen to the music that these guys do. But, you know.
So basically what I understand is that, you have tried to, remove the mental blocks that you might have based on your past experience, and believed in the belief that was there in the room. So if I say, Emma, just for example, if you have to become the country head of 10 pearls again, now, based on whatever you have learned and unlearned, what will you do differently in the same role that you were playing a few years ago?
So I'll answer this question. I don't know if Imran Saab is already in this group.
So this is not about 10 pearls. This is just about your role at 10 pearls, right? So nothing about the organization as such.
So when First Round Capital had our had this first meeting with us, and when Ben from First Round, he actually visited Lahore, and I remember we were having coffee, and I asked him then, oh, why airlift? And he said speed of work. And I think that says it all. I think we did move fast. Some of the deployments that we have done, I would have stopped them if had I been in Folio 3 or 10 pearls or anywhere else, because they were not quote unquote of that quality. And the processes that we kind of bypassed earlier on, and the team kept asking me, when will Scrum happen? And I keep telling them, dude, you deploy when we say we deploy. And we deployed left, right, and center. I mean, daily deployments and daily. So I think speed of work needs to be improved. We work really fast, and we don't spend too much time in decision making. And there's this rule that we have created. It's a 30-minute meetings. If something cannot be clearly identified with clear action items in 30 minutes, we're not going to have a 1-hour meeting. So 30 minutes is it is. So we don't have 1-hour meetings at all. And I think we move fast. We don't have too many hierarchies. I mean, people don't wait for me to approve anything. And if they do something bad, something bad happens to the production environment. I mean, one of our developers recently did something not too nice to the production server, and we just had samosas next day. I mean, you have to bring that ownership to the team so that they are there. So I think I would create an environment of ownership, one, speed, second. And so it's not about any company or anybody. I would probably start a culture of shares. If everybody shares,
okay.
Offer stock options to everybody.
Ahmed, again, I'm sorry, I am not very clear about it. You say speed is the key, right?
Yeah.
So how have you gotten the speed that you think other accomplished companies, the large ones, doing phenomenal job for top brands globally, what can they do to bring speed? Is it about more hours a day? It's about better quality of people, or or it's about giving equity to the employees? Speed is something which is different, right?
Yeah,
how do you get the speed?
I think speed is about tolerance of what going of what's going into production. So in services, you are actually bound by the quality defined by someone else. So you have to abide by the rules of engagement. You know, you cannot just deploy this there. In a product environment, I know that the dark side of the code that's going in. Nobody's questioning me, but I know what will work and I know what the vulnerability is. So probably in a product environment, it's probably doable more. But I think uh, uh, preaching this to our customers too is important because they do have to move fast. I mean, I'm not saying write bad code, and I'm not saying deploy anything or everything on prod, but you need to have this sense of urgency that if something needs to be done, it needs to be there now. It's not that simple that if a build is not being done today, so on Friday, tomorrow doesn't mean Monday. Okay, on Friday, tomorrow means tomorrow. See, and today at Airlift, this is not my shot. Every developer knows what tomorrow means, because if they don't show up on Monday, it's perfectly fine. Why not? But what needs to be done today has to be done today, and this is their ownership. I mean, I would love for you guys to actually visit one of our offices and see. I think there's this environment of moving fast. We do things fast. Like, for example, if there is an email in my inbox that requires an answer, I will respond very quickly, so that I'm leading with examples, so that the developers, they also respond quickly. Calendars are set. We don't train people on using their calendars, and we ask people to actually uh, break their daily chunks out. So some of these things happen. Some people are inherently more sort of organized than others, but it happens, and the environment wakes up to that. So it's kind of exciting to bring that, but I've seen it happen, and over time we have actually improved on that. Now we are actually building better code with a similar speed.
So, like you said earlier, you had to let go few people, at certain stage, and we talked about speed. There has to be the right mindset. The passion has to be attached to it. So, what do you do if somebody or some people are just not ready, to do the way and within time that you want to be accomplished? How do you manage these people?
So team management is a different sport, Shazad. I mean, you have to first of all, the gate should be very strong. If we are making a mistake in hiring, we should own up to it. But we believe that everybody has superpowers, and if we have our gate defined well, people do come up with some sort of quality one way or the other. I mean, you can hire somebody for a certain position, and they may show up interest or power at something else. And not everybody works at the same speed or as the same quality. But you can figure that out in some areas. You have to do a lot of mentoring. You have to do a lot of talking at times. Like, for example, there are some fresh individuals that I do weekly one-on-ones with, and I really, it's a stretch for me to get that half an hour out. But I've seen the results of just getting that done, because I know they can do that, and they passed the whole criteria. They scored 100 in hacker rank, and etc. I mean, they do have something, and people pick up most of the time. And then there will be some odd combination, probably 1 in 100. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, abhi tak aaya nahi, but hopefully we don't have to do that on performance. But yeah, I don't think we should hold back on that. It's at times letting go of some people on performance. The one I mentioned earlier was based on the COVID situation that was not in our hands, but based on performance, a very nice exit to some people is really good for them. Yes, it's good for the organization, but for good for them. And you have to bring their, it's more common in the US, but in Pakistan, it's a big social dhabba, you know, if you get laid off or fired. But you can work with them and get them to a level of confidence that it's not them, it's the mix, that's not working. But Shahzad, so we have to do that.
Yeah, I think I agree to it. I think we have to be quick in decision making. If there's a cultural mismatch,
Absolutely.
you don't have the right person for the right job. I think decision has to be taken quickly. A relevant question from Mashood Alam. What are the key attributes you look for when you are hiring new members, both juniors and seniors, and how is this criteria different than when you had been hired, when you were hired as an executive yourself?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't remember doing a case study ever. I was always hired of one or two interviews, and that's kind of strange because now case studies are common. So we do have case studies, and I don't recall apart from one of my jobs at ABN AMRO that there was a culture fit sort of an interview. So now we do have that too, and then there are technical interviews, etc. So I think uh, 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 so I think this question is a bit relevant because when I used to get hired, or that was a long time ago, things have really evolved in general. But yes, we have.
So, Emma, this is Mashood here. If you can hear me, my question was more around when you were hiring as an executive, and when you're looking for talent versus when you are hiring for a startup. What are the difference in criteria for hiring?
Thank you, Mashood, for clarifying.
Thank you, Michelle. I was taking it completely differently. Thank you for that. Yeah, I think for managers, they have to have humility, people management skills. There's no question about it. People who are handling people have to know how to do that. Humility, making sure that they have to be good listeners. They have to be good listeners because otherwise and some sort of flexibility around their ideas. Like for example, during the interviews, do check about how they would react to if their ideas are not listened to. How would they react to if their suggestions are invalidated? And how? So there could be situational questions around that. But people who are handling people have to be very strong at that. Humility is very important. You don't want heroes who know they are heroes. You don't want heroes who make others feel like heroes. And so that's for that. And for similarly for tech roles as well. I mean, yes, they need to be very good in technology, but they have to have an attitude for learning, aptitude for learning. If they're open to learn, and the first step for them to be able to learn is first figure out that they lack something. It's really important. Most of some of the CVs have so many technologies written on them that if they know all of them, they are my gurus. But they fail to disagree that they know half of those. So some sort of humility there as well, and it allows them to learn more. And we are very particular about these, some of them. And many at times there are some really good interviews, and we put them through another interview. And the best of the best people that we have hired are all strong yeses in all of these sessions. And this really works for us. I don't know if this answers your question, Mafika.
Yeah, I think it pretty much does. But Emma, tell me something. The way you are expanding your services, across geographies, there'll be adding complexities and adding even regulatory demand from across. With your stringent hiring processes, do you think you have enough human capital that you can really this HR will not become a blocker for you to grow at a scale?
Maybe Shazad, I don't know if what happens if we are a 300 people company very soon. Like for example, one of our engineers is from Balochistan University of IT, and he works from Quetta. One of our hires, one of our top Android guys is from Sawabi, and not even Ahmedabad. So it's Sawabi is, if you guys know, it's so, and he works from Sawabi. I think he's a graduate from NUST or somewhere, and one of them works from Peshawar. And this new norm is actually opening up a lot of talent. I mean, we are interviewing an architect from Jhelum. I mean, when would I couldn't even think of finding someone from Jhelum 2 years ago. So there are these hidden gems here and there, because there are tech universities everywhere, and there are self-starters everywhere. And I'm telling you, there are so many people available. You just need to open it up for them. So like, for example, I had a lot of people on LinkedIn now, and everybody and anybody who has a question, I add them to them, and over a weekend I try and answer their. And at times you figure out that there are people somewhere in Sialkot who are never able to get out, and they're doing some fantastic work with Kafka servers at AWS, and they have a question, and you say, what are you doing with that? And they give you a couple of links from Carnegie Mellon University. There was this guy who was doing a Postgres SQL course, advanced databases from CMU, right? So he's from Salford. So the world is changing, guys. There's no stopping. But it's just the course is good. I can send you the links.
Yeah, so basically this is about remote workforce, and that diversity and youth population in the country is the key that you have
Yes.
been untapping because of
Yeah,
work from home has become so common now.
Yeah, work from home is common, and it's really helping. I mean, I don't know. People talk to a post-COVID. I don't think there will be a post-COVID. I mean, I'm not saying the COVID will stay, but this work from home will stay. For Karachi, it saves people 2 hours of Shara Faisal, and why would they even want to come to office? So yes, they can visit offices whenever they want to. Internet is fine, and it works everywhere. The Sawabi guy is always available, so I think internet works well in Sawabi, and we are actually pushing them to actually get more people from their universities and their places, because there must be somebody good there, right? There are universities at those places.
Yeah, I think we are. I mean, this discussion is. I mean, it seems that we need to have 2-3 hours to really keep going. You know, the questions keep coming, and I think the discussion is so interesting. But I think everything that starts has some end. We may have more sessions about it, but I would really, before we close this, I would want to have the ambassador Asad Sahab. I think he has some questions. If Asad Sahab, if you can directly ask the question to Ahmed Ayub.
No, I asked Shahzad. I don't have any question. I just have gratitude and thanks that I am more educated than before. And these are the kind of conversations that we should be having, frankly, to basically provide guidance to those who wish to do things in Pakistan in future. And I think my takeaway from Ayub's conversation today is that it may be difficult, but it is definitely doable only if you take the step forward.
Bilkul, I think it's definitely doable, and it's being done, and hopefully with these steps that we are taking, I'm pretty sure that there will be more startups opening. There will be better outsourcing opportunities opening within Pakistan, seeing that the tech of airlift was completely homegrown. and the level of information we have gotten now in the last 2 years, I think if we were to start Airlift over again, we would be much faster, and would love to share that with everybody as well, where it's needed. Cloud services and technology at so many places, data engineering is all coming of age, and I think we are right there. Uh, no questions about it.
If I may, you very briefly, just through this platform, inform everybody that we are in conversation with Amazon. They had taken an in-principle decision to set up their Amazon Web Service representation in Pakistan. There were some issues, and we are trying to resolve those issues. We are also in conversation with Microsoft and some of the other leading companies. And we are really very keen to have them come to Pakistan. You are absolutely right that, while trade in goods has been a priority for us, but right now it is the technology and the affiliated related trade. And I think what is absolutely critical and essential is for people to learn of the good stories and the role models like yourself, and this information, I think, should not just be shared at the Open International platform. I'll be happy to work with Mozam to disseminate this good story to as wide an audience as we can. And maybe you can come and speak and share your story with everybody so that, people get inspired. So I thank Mozam, thank you, and everyone else who joined this conversation for making me a part of this. And I look forward to continuing to work with you very closely.
Excellent. Thank you, Ambassador Saab. And thank you, everyone. Ahmed in particular is phenomenal. I'm in awe with your humbleness. This is, you have done way more than what you have shared. And just what you have shared is just amazing and incredible. So thank you. This is contagious. And I hope many other people you have inspired through this. I'm pretty sure you have. Shahzad, thank you so much. Open Karachi, Dr. Farah Isa, Sultana Siddiqui, Saba, all of you folks are phenomenal. And just hearing the names, and I'll leave it on this, at this. So I heard Salman Azhar, I heard Abbas Yusufzai, I heard Adnan Lavai, right? And Atif Awan. These are all Open Charter members, right? They're doing things on their own in personal capacity, but there's a platform also that exists, and all of these are part of, and they're doing it through this platform as well that is called the Open. So my challenge to all of you, and my request, is that the Open is as good as the engagement you have and whatever you feel passionate about. You sort of, you get it through this Open platform. So my request to you is, if you have a passion, if you are passionate about, and the passion could be the word P, Pakistan, and I heard it loud and clear from Ahmed's talk, right? And it could be networking, it could be mentoring, whatever that passion is, leverage this platform that is open and other platforms as well, and realize your passion. Nobody is going to stop you. So if you want to volunteer, just reach out to us, right? And say, I have this project, I'm passionate about this, and I want to leverage the global open scale to do more, and partner with other organizations in the process. Reach out to us. Nobody would say no to you as long as it falls within the mission of Open, that is fostering entrepreneurship and professional development within the community. So on that note, again, thank you so much. It doesn't end here. I really appreciate everyone's engagement, and Ahmed in particular. Looking forward to your unicorn story pretty soon, inshallah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Graham. Thank you very much, Emma. Thank you, everybody else. Thank you, Amreen Reza, for your support, for your guidance. Thank you, Mozam. I mean, you have been really so helpful. Farhan from Open Silicon Valley. I must not,
Actually, sorry,
sort of ignore his. Yeah.
I missed this part. Farhan is the backbone behind many of these initiatives. So Farhan Yunus is the secretary of Open Silicon Valley. Last minute, he ended up sorting all the logistical challenges for us. And this is where you feel passionate about something and you want to just do good for the community. So thank you, Farhan, and everyone else who was involved.
Absolutely. And thank you, Dr. Farah, for being there, for guiding me across. And Yeah. So Farah, do you have any comment? I'm sure we're done with time, but I think she's so passionate about women empowerment. I think she's been texting me that why there's no diversity conversation that we have yet asked. So just last 1 minute, Farah.
You're on mute. Dr.
Sorry, Farah, you are on mute.
Okay. Thank you very much, Shahzad. And, Ahmed Ayub, we're really grateful that you came, because this was our first Open Karachi session. And, Shahzad kind of lured you in to come for this session. And I think Shahzad did a great job, and it wouldn't have been possible without Muazzam's and Marine support and Farhan's support, and going, I know that we've taken a lot of your time. I just wanted to say that, I would want to see, something, with airlift in regards to women empowerment and women entrepreneurship. I don't know whether you have, thought about that, because, I see airlift with all the men in it. So just,
Okay,
Co-founders is a-
thank you, Farah. One of the co-founders is so.
and we would love to have her as well.
Yeah, Meher Farooq is one of the co-founders,
Yes.
and Meher actually handles complete operations in the Lahore region. Sabah Aftab, she returned back from the US 2 years back. She handled the whole Karachi operations for transport and
That's outstanding.
Ashfa is our head of HR. She's basically people strategy, and she's an Oxford grad, and she recently moved back to Pakistan, and she's doing some incredible work in building a team here and in South Africa. I think there is a skewed percentage in tech. I agree, and we really so we recently hired this girl Amna from Habib University, and people tell me that of the batch of 12 people that we hired, and she's one of the 2 girls, and she's the best programmer that we have. I think there are changes, and will keep on happening, and hopefully we have a much better percentage of women. So yeah, but I know this. Please share some good CVs with me, and I would love to evaluate and hire. And also
That's
would love
amazing.
to show the daycare that we have recently created for working women at Lahore and Karachi offices. And also we are doing some very mother-friendly policies as well. So we are doing whatever we can, but yeah, more needs to be done.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you for attending, everyone. I think it was a huge participation for Open's event today. And Muazzam, I would like you guys to close off, and goodbye from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
again,
you.
everyone. Have a good rest of the day, and leverage open. Leverage open. There for you to leverage and realize your passion. With that,
So be part of the network.
yes.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
Khuda Hafiz.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Take care, guys.
Thank you, and assalamu alaikum. And best of luck.